because I recognize. Okay, I think of him as a Don Quixote, a virtuous, heroic person who's mistaken. Do I honor Don Quixote's virtue in spite of the pointlessness of it because he's mistaken?
I think they're interested.
Hello.
Want to play the game? We have time?
Yep.
Always be on the lookout.
Yep.
I don't know
for
what to do
that.
about that.
Going for that eye contact thing. I mean, part of me says I absolutely do honor Daniel's heroism, his virtue. Maybe it's his virtue. I think he is acting in a virtuous way according to his own beliefs. And I don't want to diss that at all.
I think virtue has to be connected to truth, though.
Does it?
Yep.
How do you explain Don Quixote?
I forget the story.
Tilting at windmills. He's an old man who's gone batty and delusional, and he has Pancho, who is his armor bearer, and he goes off and he protects the virtues of the society and does bravery and is jousting with a giant that's actually a windmill. And then he ends up on his deathbed and such. And every time he sees something, he misattributes that this is something much more profound and glorious. And then exhibits his culture's virtues strongly, entirely in misattribution due to delusion.
Yeah, it's hard. Tough to say.
Yeah.
Hi.
What you guys
Hey,
Hi.
welcome.
I've seen things like this on YouTube. With
Yeah?
The lines.
Cool.
Yeah.
Would you care to play with us?
Sure.
Sure.
We
And
do.
are any of your
Multiple?
friends? This is a game for up to 5.
Okay. I think us 3 would want to do it.
Please.
All right, what claim would you like to do?
So we have several claims there, and you can choose your own. Those are just suggestions.
Oh, wait,
You can
should
choose one of these. Now, in this case, we'd have to answer the question in order to have a claim,
we? Yeah.
because I can't agree or disagree with the question so much.
Yeah.
So there's one step there, but other than these, you could agree and disagree. And you can choose anything else you like too.
I have a
Yes.
topic for the question.
Mhm.
Just for me, because I'm Polynesian,
Mhm.
talking about how indigenous people are having their land taken,
Mhm.
especially in like Hawaii. They're like building a bunch of stuff on like sacred land.
Uh-huh.
So like that would be a topic for me.
Sure. Great.
Indigenous
Are you
people
guys
should not have
up
their
for-
land taken away?
Yes.
That's the claim?
Okay. Are you up for doing that claim? With?
Yeah, I'm not very educated on that topic.
That's great.
If you're not, then you can do something.
Ignorance is an excellent place to start critical thinking from.
Yeah, we can do it.
Move the cart, Dolly.
Yep. Let me grab the card. Yes, everybody start on neutral, even if that's not your position. And that way, you're not influencing each other. So please think about where you're going to go. Agree is this side, disagree is over there. Y'all have in your mind where you're going? Go now.
And
What's the wording exactly?
count down from 3.
Indigenous people should not have their land taken away. Okay, so all right, only a slight bit of disagreement in the group, and that's cool. I mean, slight, it's just like one little step, and that's great. Because I'm trying to magnify the disagreements, you know, because I'm nasty that way. So tell me the reason why you're here.
So I'm Polynesian, as I
Mhm.
said before, and so I grew up learning about like culture and how much land means to the people who are indigenous to it. So I'm a firm believer that there is energy and that kind of stuff. I believe in like a higher power and stuff.
Okay.
So there's not only that, but that land also belonged to them. They were there before any colonization.
Okay.
So I felt like there at least should have been some sort of agreement instead of just like the colonization happening without any like form of. Sorry.
Who should have to agree?
The people who are in power. So like when Hawaii was overthrown, it would have been like the queens and kings of the monarchy would have to have some sort of agreement with the people who were overthrowing them, or like I don't know. I don't believe in mass genocide, so
Right, yeah.
yeah.
I don't have to be neutral about that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just not a good thing in general.
Okay, tell me your reason for being over here.
Well, I'm not really read up on the topic, but it's just like kind of from the question you can kind of tell which one's the right or wrong answer.
Oh,
like
okay.
it's their land. It's not for other people to take, and it's special to them. Like people shouldn't be really taking their land away. That's theirs. Like,
Okay.
but I'm not really read up on it. But that's just like from what I get from it. Like, no one's land should be taken away. It's kind of just
Okay.
yeah.
What's your reason for being here?
I mean, it's people's homes where they grew up. It's their land. They were there first. So I think there has to be a discussion and there has to be an agreement that's made. Like, no one can move into someone's land and claim it as their own without, I mean, in general, but I mean, you can't, especially without a conversation. I don't know.
Okay. People's homes on it. If somebody's home is on a thing, that's their land?
Oh, the home itself would be their land, right? But if it's
Okay.
a giant group of people together and that, yeah.
Is it okay if I elaborate on
Yes,
this?
please.
So, is it okay if
Yeah.
I hold this? I just wanted to also elaborate that there are homes that are being taken away in Hawaii
Yeah.
if they're on like land that someone, like the state, will take away land from people even though their name is under it, even though it's been in their family for like generations. So I think that is an issue in itself. Also, to add to the topic, there is burial grounds that are super forbidden to go on to. Like you're paying respect by not touching it. So I think that that's an issue in itself.
Are you allowed to go there to bury new people?
I am not super educated
That's
with
fine.
my own culture to say whether or not, but usually no, because it could be someone of the monarchy that is buried there. You just don't mess with an ancient burial ground. So
Okay.
Isn't it illegal to even like destroy or like
yeah, you're not allowed
tamper
to
with
destroy
burial grounds?
someone's burial
Yeah.
ground. So you just couldn't
Yeah.
bury someone who's
I think that's everywhere that's illegal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I'm interested in the home house question because the first example you gave, I think, actually has to do with telescopes on Mauna Kea.
Yes.
Yes. Are those homes? Does that qualify?
I don't
Okay.
know what that
You don't
is.
know.
Okay.
That's
so
fine.
they aren't
I don't know is such a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They aren't homes, but that is an ancient burial site where war has taken place, and there's many people who have died on that land. So that's why we just don't touch the land, because we pay respect to the people who have fought there. So I think it's just a little disrespectful that you're building land on top of people who have fought for it.
Okay. Can you see those 3 reasons that Reed has written down? Indigenous people's land means a lot to them. Indigenous people own their land. The land includes ancient burial ground. Does that catch what we said? Okay.
You said something about genocide before. How was that? What was the connection there?
I think the connection is that if you remove somebody's land, you genocide them as a culture?
That is not what I said.
No.
I was more thinking about how it's just disrespectful in a way, because you're taking away the fact that there was a mass genocide in order to take that land away from some people, like from that people,
Okay.
that group of people. So that's what I meant about mass genocide. I didn't say.
Okay. So, disrespect. All right, so I'm going to stand just on the other side. If I were here, I'm not saying what my position is. If I were over here, what would I be saying? What sort of reasons would I give to be on this side of neutral?
You know, I think it would be, in a sense, like technology is evolution. So obviously you're going to grow and like build things upon the land that is provided, which makes sense. And I wouldn't disagree with that because there is so many resources that are here on campus, and this is an indigenous land.
Yeah.
However, just because we have the resources now and we're utilizing it doesn't make it okay for what had happened to,
Sure.
just be logical. It's not.
Okay. Can you think of any other reasons that a person on this side?
Yeah, I mean, I think an
along here would
argument
say?
could be made for like just the massive amount of population in the world, and like eventually people who are not part of an indigenous group are going to have to move onto indigenous land. I guess that could be an argument. I don't know if we're there yet, but I guess,
Housing issues?
yeah, housing issues. Yeah, and I guess you could argue that like,
There's like conflict about
Yeah.
this topic.
Sure. Sure.
I mean, yeah, to like even just like the very core of the argument, like does anyone even like actually, can you possess land? Can it be yours? I think that when
Putin says yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think with like the colonization of America and with like the Commonwealth, a lot of it was kind of like a superiority of like we're more knowledgeable, have more technology, therefore we need to like enlighten you on these technologies and we're gonna move in forcefully. So I think that was another reasoning.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have it? I don't know.
Any thoughts about
Yeah. I feel
reasons
like,
on this side?
my only thought would be that like housing situation, like,
Yeah.
overpopulation.
Oh, okay. So if the land
Yeah.
isn't being used and is needed,
Yeah, I would see like how someone would have that point. Still don't think it's entirely right, but that could be an argument.
I think the talking stick just lost its power. I know. It's very intimidating. After lots of hours of practice, you learn to just live with it. Boom, chakalaka laka. Thank you.
Just stand here.
So I'm going to stand close to you where my law picks you up. I'll try not to be too intimidating.
That's kind of all I had. Just like housing
Okay.
situation, housing crises.
Okay.
Because like we have issues with housing, like places in California, of course. Like it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
housing is kind of an issue everywhere. So
Right, like Los Angeles just has a huge overpopulation and there's a lot of homeless people. So I do agree with the fact that housing is a very big issue with land and stuff. But at the same time, there's also a way that you can build on. You could build on top of. There's like apartments that
Yeah.
you could build on top of. Instead of using more land, you could create homes from just one structure, even though that might not necessarily be ideal for people who like have big families and stuff, but it would help instead of just taking over land and using up a
Yeah.
lot of space.
So let me try to steel man a position over here and say, and ask, could you make a trade of land? This land that is the only land I can use for a particular thing. I'm thinking of that telescopes. For other land that is in exchange.
I mean, yeah, you could. I don't think the people of Hawaii would do that, just because we believe so strongly in like the land has power and we protect it. But if there was like there was some sort of trade that was logical and reasonable, or like someone who owned the land was like, you have a resource that I want, I have a resource that you want, like let's make a fair trade. I would totally be down to that. That's but that's their personal stuff, that they could talk about. But that's I feel like the telescope is a whole different scenario, so I wouldn't necessarily use that as an example because I would say no to that immediately.
No on the telescope. So I had a friend a couple of years back lost his house, but got paid for it when a freeway came through. And his house was under where the freeway is now. So he got paid fair market value that was obviously decided by somebody else. So was it fair? I don't know. How do you feel about that?
That is another issue. I don't necessarily, okay, so I'm assuming, I'm just gonna put the bar low and say that it wasn't a fair pay that they gave him.
Okay.
And it's also really hard nowadays to find housing, especially in Southern California,
Sure.
just in California in general, right? So, no, I would not say that was fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have enough disagree reasons yet?
Did I capture them all? The land could be better. The
land could be put to better use. Another disagree reason would be there's possibility for fair exchange.
There's a possibility for fair exchange.
Yeah, it's possible to have a fair exchange in some cases. Okay. So I'm going to step back here one more line. I'm steelmanning these positions. I'm actually neutral on the question. There is no land in the entire world except Thailand and Antarctica that hasn't been invaded and taken by force. So if we base on how the land was used in the past to constrain its use now, the entire world is already stolen and sold.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's right.
I just
Okay.
don't think you can justify more like wrongs with past wrongs. Like,
Okay.
so
Cool.
The claim is
can't justify-
taken away as well.
Pardon?
The claim is about taken away. Can you exchange something fairly and have it also be taken away?
Well, that would mean yes, because I did take it for an exchange, and in this case, I think there was a forced exchange. Like my friend who lost his house to the freeway, he did not have a choice.
That was taken away, but potentially fairly.
Potentially fairly. If he was satisfied with the price, or if other people would be satisfied with the price, maybe you would say that was okay. And it wasn't indigenous people. It was he bought a house, and he got the house forcefully sold out from under him.
Okay.
Yeah. Forceful exchange. Yes, thank you. I don't think that forceful exchange is the best thing. Obviously, like you're moving someone out of their home. That's where they live. I feel like that should be something that you talk about or discuss in advance, like far in advance, so people have time to figure out what they want to do. Because if the city is creating a highway and it's over people's houses, that's a big deal. That's where they live. It's disrupting the home environment. So
Indeed. So, yes.
I do think there are just with the amount of people in the U.S., there are needs for new highways, and it's just kind of an impossible situation where you can't please everyone. If you're not building roads, then that's a huge problem. It's going to negatively affect way more people in terms of employment and stuff.
Okay.
But it's
so
also
the needs of the many versus the needs of the few?
Yeah, it's some people are going to get hurt, but I mean, if you're paying them fairly, then that's kind of the best outcome in a bad situation.
Right.
It doesn't make it fair, but it is the best they can do for that person.
Okay,
Obviously,
so
if they're
it's
not
the
paying the right
lesser
amount
evil.
for the house, then that's not fair. But if
Yeah. Okay. So my last, the last step is I want you to make up something you don't think is true, that you could learn tomorrow, that would move you. Now, for you guys, you could only move this way, but you could move that way or that way. Something that you could learn tomorrow.
Something happened, or
Yeah, something happened or something has already happened that you just learn about tomorrow. So you read an article tomorrow and say, hey, wow, this changed my mind. What's in it?
is it specifically within this topic or just
Within this topic,
Okay.
something you could learn that would move you usually in either direction. But since you're all the way over there, I can only have you move this way.
I guess I can go this way. I mean, within the topics that we were talking about, I do think that I would I would move over here just a little more because it's like the needs of the many versus the needs of the few.
So that argument maybe moves.
That argument I did agree with about, you know, the highway and stuff, but at the same time, it's like there should be a planned discussion about this far in advance in order for people to prepare for, you know, that kind of situation.
Fantastic. Do you have, yes?
I think if I found out that they as in like the government, were making a plan to, I don't know, provide more housing for people who don't have it right now, and we're using indigenous land and an agreed plan. I don't know. But I don't think I could find anything about like, I don't think I could find something out about indigenous people that would make me think that they don't deserve the land they're on. I don't think that would ever happen, but I think there could be like a fair trade or opportunity that I would agree with.
There's
I don't
pros
know.
and cons to
Yeah.
this subject. It's very
Yeah,
so
totally.
many ins and outs.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, if the land was being used for something that's like collectively for the common good, I like of everyone in Hawaii, I would say then that would be a reason for like the land to be used.
Right, yeah.
But then still there's terms and conditions with that and like getting it fairly and not just taking it.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, if you would come over here. We have been doing things of sorting, but maybe you would like to put some weight on which of these reasons mean the most to you. Which of these reasons are the most important? And you can touch.
Yeah. You can also place the red, yellow, and green magnets
Yeah.
on individual reasons you think are true
I could say that one's a terrible reason with a
or
red.
false, or you have questions about.
Okay. Nice.
Sweet.
Both of these, just in general for Emily.
Okay.
And then, this especially.
Okay. Cool. Do you find any of these to be good reasons on the other side? Or maybe you want to point out some of these are especially bad reasons.
That's kind of the most compelling argument
Okay.
on the other side, I think. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
You too. Sweet.
Sorry, I jumped in there with the talking stick. I didn't know if that was your intention.
No, that's fine.
Okay. I so don't want to upstage you.
That's cool. I like this job a lot.
You like that?
This job a lot.
Good.